Welcome to Hardly, where books turn into 3 stories, refreshing your knowledge in minutes. Today we listen to Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The 4 Agreements, a practical guide to personal freedom, in which we explore how to reclaim personal freedom by breaking away from limiting beliefs and adopting 4 transformative agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz is a famous spiritual teacher. Janet Mills is the founder of Amber Allen Publishing. Don't go away. Hurdley, the editor, will be right back with the story. Let me share with you 3 powerful stories that illustrate the essence of breaking away from limiting beliefs to reclaim personal freedom. The first story takes us to a small town where a young woman named Maria lived her entire life. Raised in a strict household, Maria was constantly reminded that her role in life was to serve others, particularly the men in her family. "A good woman knows her place," her father would often say. Maria internalized these words, believing her value was tied to her obedience and service. She worked tirelessly, putting everyone else's needs before her own, even when it meant sacrificing her dreams of becoming an artist. One day, she stumbled upon a group of women at the local library who were discussing the idea of personal freedom. Intrigued, she listened as they spoke of challenging societal expectations and embracing one's true desires. This conversation planted a seed in Maria's mind. She began to secretly paint in the attic, expressing herself in ways she had never imagined. With each brushstroke, she felt the chains of her upbringing loosen. Eventually, Maria's artwork was discovered by a visiting gallery owner who was captivated by her raw talent. For the first time, Maria saw herself as more than just a servant to others. She realized that the limitations she had lived by were not real, but imposed beliefs that she had the power to change. By breaking free from these constraints, Maria reclaimed her life and became a celebrated artist, inspiring others to follow their dreams regardless of societal pressures. The second story revolves around a man named Carlos, a middle-aged teacher who had always played it safe. Carlos believed that life was meant to be lived within certain boundaries, never straying too far from the norm. "Stay within your limits, and you'll be safe," he would tell his students, reflecting the advice he had received from his parents. One day, a former student of his, now a successful entrepreneur, visited the school. She shared stories of her daring adventures and the risks she took to build her company. Carlos was struck by her words, particularly when she said, "I stopped letting fear dictate my decisions, and that's when I truly started living." These words haunted Carlos as he went about his daily routine. He realized that he had been living in a cage of his own making, too afraid to step out and experience life fully. Determined to change, Carlos decided to take a sabbatical and travel the world, something he had always dreamed of but never dared to do. As he explored new cultures and met diverse people, Carlos discovered that the world was far richer and more vibrant than he had ever imagined. His experiences taught him that the only real limits were the ones he imposed on himself. By breaking those limits, Carlos not only expanded his worldview, but also found a renewed passion for teaching, now encouraging his students to push beyond their boundaries and embrace the unknown. The third story is about a young entrepreneur named Sophia, who had always been told that she wasn't smart enough to succeed in business. Growing up, her parents and teachers constantly compared her to her more academically inclined siblings. "Business is not for you. You should stick to something simpler," they would say. Despite her love for creativity and her knack for innovation, Sophia began to believe that she wasn't cut out for the competitive world of business. However, during a casual coffee with an old friend who had just started her own company, Sophia was challenged to rethink her self-imposed limitations. Her friend shared how she had faced similar doubts, but chose to ignore the naysayers and trust her instincts. Encouraged, Sophia decided to take a leap of faith and started a small online shop selling handcrafted jewelry. The initial months were tough, filled with self-doubt and financial struggles. But Sophia persisted. She invested time in learning about marketing, product design, and customer engagement. Gradually, her business grew, and she began to attract a loyal customer base. As her shop flourished, Sophia realized that the beliefs she had held onto for so long were not hers, but those imposed by others. By rejecting these limiting beliefs, she was able to unlock her potential and build a successful business, proving that intelligence is not just about academic achievement, but also about creativity, perseverance, and the courage to take risks. These stories illustrate a fundamental truth. The beliefs we hold can either trap us or set us free. Each of these individuals, Maria, Carlos, and Sophia, faced deeply ingrained beliefs that limited their potential. But by challenging and breaking free from these beliefs, they were able to reclaim their personal freedom and create lives that were true to their authentic selves. In life, many of us are bound by invisible chains, beliefs passed down from parents, teachers, or society that tell us who we should be and what we can achieve. These beliefs, often accepted without question, become the framework through which we view the world. But as we see from these stories, it is possible to break free from this framework. The first step is awareness, recognizing that these beliefs exist and understanding how they shape our decisions and actions. Once we become aware, we can begin to challenge these beliefs, question their validity, and decide whether they truly serve us. The process of breaking these limiting beliefs is not easy. It requires courage, as stepping outside of the familiar often does. But the reward is immense. The freedom to live life on our own terms, to pursue our dreams without fear or hesitation, and to fully realize our potential. As the editor of Hardly, by learning these lessons, we can envision a future where we are no longer confined by outdated beliefs, but are empowered to redefine what is possible in our lives. In reflecting on the key idea of breaking away from limiting beliefs to reclaim personal freedom, I'm reminded of a powerful story that exemplifies this concept. A man named Javier grew up believing that success was only for those who were naturally talented or born into privilege. He had always been told, "You need to be realistic. Some people just aren't meant to rise above their station." This belief kept him in low-paying jobs, never daring to reach for more. One day, while listening to a motivational speaker at a community event, Javier heard something that shook him to his core. "Your beliefs are the only thing standing between you and your dreams." Inspired, Javier decided to take control of his life. He started studying at night, learning new skills, and gradually applied for better positions. It wasn't easy, and he faced many rejections, but his new belief in his potential kept him going. Eventually, he landed a job that matched his ambitions, proving that success is not about where you start, but how far you're willing to go. Javier's story underscores the transformative power of challenging and changing the beliefs that limit us. When we recognize that these beliefs are often inherited or self-imposed, we gain the power to reshape our lives. By breaking free from these mental constraints, we open the door to new possibilities, allowing us to live authentically and achieve our true potential. As the editor of Hardly, through embracing this mindset, we can become architects of our future, unbound by the limitations of the past.